Number 10. It is considered the eighth wonder of the world. Yes, the mysterious Amber Room is right up there with the Taj Mahal and the Great Wall of China. Its majesty didn't come from its size exactly, although it did stretch an impressive 180 square feet, but from its sheer excess of gold and gems. The Amber Room was simply dripping in finery, decked out with 6 tons of amber and precious stones, and covered in precious gold leaf. The sheer size and scope of the Amber Room, plus its tie to royal families in both Prussia and Russia, make it an absolutely unique and cherished relic, the likes of which we might never see again. Number 9. The Nazis stole it. It's common knowledge that Nazis looted plenty of the good stuff, from their infamous Nazi gold racket to pilfering priceless works of art. In June of 1941, Adolf Hitler unleashed a torrent of German soldiers into Soviet territory in a campaign known as Operation Barbarossa. The Nazis used the operation as an excuse to pillage famous works of art, including the works in Catherine Palace, which included the extravagant Amber Room. As Nazi forces moved in, the occupants of Catherine Palace scrambled to hide the precious panels by masking them under wallpaper. Unfortunately, their clever trick didn't fool the Nazis, and they seized the Amber Room and sent its pieces to Königsberg, Germany, where it remained until the very end of the war. Nobody knows what happened to the lost Amber Room after it was whisked away to the heart of the Nazi Empire. Number 8. It's astonishingly valuable. The Amber Room is one of the rarest things that we ever misplaced, and this gilded golden and amber chamber would be worth over $500 million today. Not only is the Amber Room crafted out of some of the most splendid materials on the planet, but it was also a work of art, all on its own merits. The panels were peppered with intricate carvings that depicted scenes from mythology, as well as family crests and history. There were artfully placed mirrors, each one specifically oriented as to display the finery of the Amber Room itself. The whole thing was set against a brilliant backdrop of gold leaf that made it one of the masterpieces of the Baroque era, and also hits home what a devastating loss it was. Number 7. Prussian artists created it. Although the Amber Room was stolen from Catherine Palace in Russia, the Amber Room was actually the brainchild of the first king of Prussia's wife, Sophie Charlotte. The esteemed Lady Charlotte immediately got busy making Berlin beautiful, and that meant creating a chamber within the palace that embodied dignity and sophistication, the shell of the Amber Room. The Amber Room's warm, honeyed glow was the happy result of an abundance of amber in the storage cellars. Offset with gold leaf, the Amber Room was born. It took several years to furnish all of the panels, but despite the undeniable grandeur of the room, it never took on in Prussia. In 1716, Frederick William gave the Amber Room to Russian Tsar Peter the Great, and it began the second leg of its incredible journey in Russia. Number 6. Russian Tsars improved it. Although the splendid Amber Room was created in Prussia, it was actually perfected in Russia. Peter the Great saw the enormous potential that the Amber Room had and decided to cart it back to his summer palace in St. Petersburg. Although Peter the Great was fond of the Amber Room, he had absolutely no idea how to restore it, and it rotted away in storage until the mid-1700s, when Empress Elizabeth took an interest in the honey-hued treasure. Elizabeth resurrected the room, elevating it from its previous finery at her winter palace. She also tacked on some more amber and added in dazzling mirrors to reflect the opulence and style of the room. The Amber Room was stretched to 188 square feet and several tons of rare amber. Eventually, the room was moved again to the palace of Catherine the Great, where it was ultimately stolen by the Nazis. By the time the Nazis got their grubby little hands on the Amber Room, Catherine had finished it with 900 more pounds of amber, stone mosaics, and windows that complemented the interplay of light and darkness in the striking room. Number 5. It's cursed. The Amber Room has a built-in gilded albatross hanging around its neck in the form of a terrible curse that has claimed countless lives. The mystery and carnage surrounding the Amber Room started back in 1941 when it was first swiped and moved to Königsberg. Alfred Rode was charged with protecting the room, but he and his wife unexpectedly caught typhus and died. Or at least that's the official story. The doctor who signed Rhodes' death certificates also vanished, leaving a giant mystery lingering where the Amber Room's caregivers were. The unfortunate Rhodes were the first victims of the Amber Room's curse, but they were far from the last. General Gusev, a Russian intelligence officer, died in a suspicious car crash after revealing that he knew the whereabouts of the elusive Amber Room. George Stein is the Amber Room's most recent victim and arguably the most horrific example of the fabled curse. In 1987, he went seeking the Amber Room and met a terrible end as the puzzling victim of a vivisection in the middle of a forest in Germany. George Stein was discovered stark naked with entrails hanging out of his split stomach. Was it a warning to others seeking out the Amber Room, or sheer macabre coincidence? We might never know. Number 4. Part of it may have resurfaced. One of the more baffling elements of the Amber Room story is the ongoing illusion of exactly what is lost and what possibly could be found. Take the 1997 chance encounter of a missing piece of the valuable Amber Room. A German furniture restorer put up an old mosaic for sale in Bremen, a city in northwestern Germany. He had no idea how valuable the tile was, or that it could be one of the Florentine mosaics, distinctive elements unique to the long-lost Amber Room. The restored mosaic was returned to Russia and given to Vladimir Putin, who expressed thanks and also implored Germany to return the rest of the Amber Room. Could the remaining parts of the incredible Amber Room be scattered around Germany? It's certainly not beyond the realm of possibility. As our number 3 pick shows, many people believe that the Amber Room never left the German state after it was forcibly removed from Russia. Some people believe that the simple, sad answer was that it was lost to the whims of war. Number 3. It was lost in the Second World War. One of the more plausible explanations for what happened to the Amber Room is that it was destroyed during the ravages of the Second World War. Königsberg, the city where the Amber Room was relocated, was destroyed in an apocalyptic rampage of bombs that decimated the city and all of the finery within. Could that have included the Amber Room? It's entirely possible, but some sources say that it's highly unlikely. For starters, the room was jam-packed with incense, and it would be impossible to miss the fragrant fumes of tons of incense being burnt at the same time. Also, a part of the Amber Room was uncovered in 1997, leading to speculation that the Amber Room might not only have survived, but that it was stowed away somewhere else in the world. We know that many treasures of the pre-Second World War era were shattered in the wreckage of the epic fight, but it's still anyone's guess whether or not the Amber Room was one of them. Some people think that the Amber Room was spirited away across the vast sea and met a different fate. Number 2. A rumored shipwreck. Could the Amber Room be sitting on the bottom of the Baltic Sea? It's not completely implausible. On January 30th, 1945, the Wilhelm Gustloff sunk beneath the waves, carrying 10,582 evacuees and an unknown abundance of cargo. It is easily the most terrible maritime disaster that you have never heard of, toppled to the depths by Soviet submarine fire. Is it possible that Soviets themselves could have destroyed their cherished Amber Room forever? In a cruel, ironic twist of fate, it might have gone down that way, literally. Since the Wilhelm Gustloff carried nearly 11,000 doomed souls aboard her decks, it's taboo to dive to her final resting place. The remains of the Wilhelm Gustloff are actually considered an enormous gravesite, and diving or excavating materials from the site is illegal. Plenty of treasure hunters have poked around the wreck of the Wilhelm Gustloff, and none of them have unearthed any part of the Amber Room, but until a comprehensive search is done, we just can't rule it out. Number 1. The Nazi ghost train connection. The location of pilfered Nazi gold is one of the greatest mysteries of the Second World War. It has captured our collective imagination since the SS soldiers first carted off precious gold and jewels and unique artwork. One of the most fascinating theories is that there was a specific train that the Nazis used to move their loot. But the whereabouts of this lucrative locomotive is totally unknown. According to the stories, the Nazis would load up this train with all sorts of goodies and speed it through secret tunnels in the Polish countryside. Although there is no written record of the train, people swear that they have heard tell of a ghost train speeding through the misty mountains of Poland, loaded up with stolen treasures, artwork, and possibly the missing panels of the precious Amber Room. Could such a train have existed? In 2015, two treasure seekers came forward claiming that they had unearthed the Nazi ghost train in a secret mountain passage in Wałbrzych, Poland. Astonishingly, this was neither confirmed or denied by the Polish government, who advised other treasure seekers to give up their quest for the train, because the mountain was unstable, or worse, booby-trapped. Could the missing jewel-studded Amber Room be lying in wait in a forgotten mine or tunnel? It certainly seems plausible, and the mystery surrounding the Nazi ghost train is right in line with the Amber Room lore. Maybe one day we'll unlock the secrets of this dazzling room of riches and restore the eighth wonder of the world to its rightful place in Russia. Until then, there's only smoke and mirrors when it comes to the Amber Room. Thanks for watching. Would you rather be the one who discovers the Amber Room, or be the person who discovers the cure for cancer? Let us know in the comment section below.